Alright, so how do you break a habit? First, you need to understand that there is a principle called higher desire that you first have to not only implement but understand deeply. And so you never follow your lower desires, you go to your higher desire. That's the number one principle. The other principle is to, well, act upon your desire, obviously. Those are the most important principles at first. There are many more, or not many more, but there are other principles working here. Change, the principle of change. But what you first have to just realize is that you need to work, because people always talk about breaking habits, and usually people have problems with this, huge issues, and you just have to break a pattern. That's it. Okay, so the number one principle for changing your habits is to work and know, obviously. So you have to work on your instincts, but you have to follow the principle of higher desire and not succumb to your lower desires. That's the problem. You want that candy, but wouldn't you rather have a great body, a beach body, always beach ready, like in Barcelona here, always beach ready? I could go without shirt now and I have a six-pack all year round. You should have a six-pack all year round. That should be for everyone. Like everyone should have that. So I'm breaking one of my habits now. People think I'm filming them, but well, I don't care what they think, what these people think. I simply don't care what they think. You look stupid and stuff like that, but who cares? Anyway, so life is about you. You're the protagonist. Alright, so how then do you break a habit? How then do you break a habit? Well, first, you need to recognize that there is a problem here. And whatever your problem is, let's say it's quit drinking coffee. Let's say it's about quit drinking coffee. You drink too much coffee. You have stomach issues. You have skin issues. You have all sorts of things. Well, many people think, just quit drinking the coffee. Now, obviously, that will work for some people. But most people, I believe, would do it gradually. One way would be chewing coffee beans or something. Or changing your food, like changing your diet. So you would change your diet. And it's getting dark. Obviously I can change the ISO, but I'm not going to do that because that will look terrible. Alright, so first principle of breaking a habit is acting upon your higher desire. A higher desire is a great body. Let's say you want to have a great body. Well, first you need to clean up your diet. Then you obviously know what you need to do. You instinctively know what you have to do. So you have to clean up your diet. You have to find your diet, the diet that works for you. I found mine, for example, through experimentation, self-experimentation. And so And so, all right, so there is music here. A lot of people today. Right, you want to change your body. Well, you have to never succumb. You have to make a pact with yourself, never to succumb to your lower desires. You have to work on your higher desire and only your higher desire, because you know that this will be better for you. Not just in health, in aesthetics, in everything. You will love yourself more. All of it. You'll perhaps even start your own business. Everything, your life will change when you change this. Alright, so this is the number one habit breaking you have to do. And after this, everything else comes with it. Alright, so it's better here, I think. Or maybe I believe the wind here is stronger, but whatever. Alright, so you only work on your higher desire. You do not succumb to and you find your diet through self-experimentation. Alright, Barcelona is beautiful. Beautiful Barcelona. It's getting really dark. You can't even see me anymore. Okay, so you gotta work on your higher desire. You need to work on your higher desire. I'm going to stress this a lot because people don't understand. Like people think motivation. How do you keep yourself motivated? Well, you have to have a strong will, and you need to follow your higher desire. Your higher desire, let's say your higher desire is, you have to define it first, and you have to know your goal. Because otherwise you don't know why you train. Let's say if you train, I mean, your higher desire could be something completely different, but let's take the example of training. The thing is, oh, perhaps I found a quieter place, or maybe not. Maybe I can walk back and forth close to the boats. Maybe it's a bit boring, but alright, so you need to work on your higher desire. So let's say you define your higher desire. Let's say you want a better body. And you obviously know by instinct, everyone knows this. You have to work on your diet and you have to exercise. Because if you don't exercise, your muscles won't show. So it doesn't matter. You know, like people do like a billion sit-ups being fat. That's useless. That's useless. You need to have a better diet, because it's impossible to show the abs without the diet. So you have to know what you're doing. All right, it's possible to go here. Okay, that's the end. All right, this is how it looks. It's beautiful. All right, so the higher desire. So obviously you need to research and you need to self-experiment. So you need to eventually find your diet, because you have to find whatever works for you in the long term. You can't just, the diet it's a temporary diet. People always say, it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle. Well, diet means lifestyle. So my diet, I've boiled it down to my diet. I call it core method diet, and there are different variations of it, which I believe are the best diets, but the less inflammation and less, all of that. But the main point is not the diet here. The main point is that you're following your higher desire, so you don't succumb to your lower ones. For example, you don't eat that croissant, you don't eat that chocolate ball. You follow your diet like 99% of the time. In the beginning, you follow your diet 100% of the time. Let's say maybe the first 6 months or something. That would be the best, actually. 6 months. But you do not break it. You do not break it. You only break it. Let's say you start in January. Your goal is to break your diet once. Let's say once in. You're allowed to break it on Christmas. You're allowed to break it on your birthday. All right. That's when you're allowed to break your diet. Otherwise, the other days, your main diet is your main diet. And you gotta find it. So obviously you need to find out what you love to eat and stuff like that. All right, so where the hell should I go now? Back to the beach? No. Too much noise today. I'll just go back. Okay, more importantly, how do you break a bad habit? So, how do you begin? So let's say your higher desire is to have a greater body. Well, you have to act upon this desire. So that's the number one thing. You have to promise yourself. And also, like, what's the motivation? What keeps you motivated? Well, health keeps me motivated. Health. Everything surrounds health. Health is the cornerstone of everything. If I don't have a great body, I can't work. If I don't eat properly, I can't work. If I don't eat properly, I'll always feel lethargic. If I don't sleep properly, if I don't eat properly, I won't sleep properly. And if I don't sleep properly, my whole day is ruined. All right? So, my whole day would be ruined. All right. So that's what you need to work on. And you break it by always laser focusing on the higher desire. Always on the higher desire. You forget about the social pressure. And by the way, if you want to be successful and you want to be, if you're successful, that ultimately means you're different, right? If you're successful, that ultimately means that you're different. It means that you have achieved something that most people don't. Let's say it's some extreme athlete or athlete sport, or it could be whatever, being a multimillionaire or billionaire, or whatever. It could be anything. And, well, not anything, not the mediocre. So we can't follow the mediocre. You have to follow those who have done it. All right? Okay. Smells like piss here. I need to walk up. All right, so higher desire. You need to change stuff. And so the second thing would be to change this stuff either gradually or immediately, but the acting upon the desire is immediate. You have to do this immediately, like today, now, right now. There is no I'm gonna do it tomorrow. It's right now, okay? Because over time all of this will accumulate, and if you begin now, it will just be, you'll be ahead of other people who change it to next week, or even longer, or forever. Alright, so there's a wind here. It's terrible here. Awful. Awful, awful. Awful, awful, awful. Ah, it's getting dark, it's getting dark. It's getting dark. This is fun. But too much noise, too much noise. Alright, so how do you concretely change? How do you change? Well, by taking a first step. You take a first step, and the step will take you to the next step. And technically, you've changed because you took a step which no one else takes, basically. So you're, instead of being at point A, you're at point B now. But you have to have the characteristics of B. Otherwise you won't stay in the state of B, right? So that's how I see it. Going from A to B. That's basically it. And you're changing, basically. You're not, it's not like you've improved. People, we always talk about improvement. I've improved. Well, you've actually achieved your higher desire because you desired something else. You desired B, not A, right? So that's what you feel. So, and that's what you continually work on, and it will accumulate. You won't feel any stress or anxiety anymore, or all this will be gone. So a lot of noise again. You gotta change your habits. Yeah, but it's easy to say. How do you change your habits? Well, first you define whatever you don't want. You have to redesign your whole day. You create yourself. You basically reinvent yourself and start having habits. Like, let's say, start having a morning routine. Start working out every morning, like I did today. Like, let's say I'm gonna wake up. Every day I'm gonna wake up at 8, and I'm gonna train until 9. And don't waste too much time on training too much either, because that's useless as well. Even if you're, I mean, obviously if you're trying to be a bodybuilder, that's different, but that's not high achievers, unless you're the extreme one, like you want to win Mr. Olympia. Maybe I can go here. Maybe there is more light. Oh, there is much more light here. Nice. Well, there is light here, but I can't walk. So that's gonna be boring. Alright. But now you can see me. Alright, so you focus on your higher desire. That's all you in the beginning. This is what you just do this in the beginning. Just if you're starting out, you feel, let's say you're messed up. Oh, Hero's better. Not a single person. This is for freaking. This is for. Alright, let's walk here. Okay, so let's say you're totally messed up. You're totally messed up. The number one thing you have to do is working on yourself. You have to work on yourself. Everyone has to work on themselves and improve. Well, now I'm going against what I said, but improve themselves. You have to improve yourself. Not improve. You have to take a different step to become something you want to be instead of what you don't want to be. If you want to have the world, you have to truly get out there, you know? But forget about that first. First, just focus on your higher desire. Just focus and motivate yourself through the lens of health. You need to simply Work on, just laser focus on this higher design. Okay, so how do you laser focus? What's required for laser focus? Well, you need to cut out almost everything from your life. I'm not saying cutting out family and friends. I'm saying you need to cut out eating crappy food. You need to cut out, you need to, I call it scaling back. You need to scale back your food, you need to scale back, you have to remove, you have to eliminate, whatever you want to call it. Minimalism. It's basically minimalism. You need to love and become minimalism. Your whole life, every aspect needs to be minimalistic. Also, it's aesthetically beautiful, minimalism. Well, I think so anyway. One of my favorite directors is Robert Bresson. He was perhaps the most minimalistic filmmaker. You're trying to break your habits, old habits or undesired habits, and you would want help with this, then you can book a session with me. The email is down below or in the about page. And the reason for the name, the 4 core method, is that I'm about to release a video course on how to work on yourself, on how to break habits, how to create new habits, how to create your whole structure, your whole day, and much more. How to think, how to generate ideas, how to constantly generate ideas. This is for people who have troubles with coming up with ideas as well. So it's basically 4 cores because life is pretty simple. You work on yourself, you work on your work, and that's it.